This week I migrated over my group multi-module assignments from last term. So these assignments were for modules 3, 4, and 7, and they were all scaffolded, so they all relate and kind of build up in content and work for the students. So here is module 3. This module is about communication. Um, I had the learners develop a collaborative document of the various styles of communication that they learned about. And the required components I included were the Google Doc must include the names of the communication styles and perceived strengths and weaknesses of each style. And then there was a reflection piece. Module 4 covered developing others, and again, there was some content provided for them. And then their assignment this term was to collaboratively develop a mind map of the appropriate courses of actions to take in the context of three conversation styles: courageous conversations or difficult conversations, coaching employees, and recognizing successful employees. So I asked them to build a mind map, and within that mind map, demonstrate the three kinds of conversations, and then provide at least 2 examples per conversation branch that reflect what the conversation would look like and when they would engage in it. And then the final assignment in this series was for Module 7. The topic was building a cohesive team. For Module 7, I asked that the groups again come together and develop a team building manifesto. The manifesto had to include how the group would approach courageous conversations and why they would choose this method, how they would coach employees who are struggling and why they would choose this method, and how they would recognize successful work and why they would choose this method. So this collaborative assignment was supposed to be built into a Google document. And then the group was also asked to work together to create vignettes or stories to demonstrate the manifesto in action. So I gave them various ideas. It could be text-based or video-based platform or a combination, but the vignettes needed to be presented as kind of like examples of how the manifesto would work in action. So that was, these were all built last term in my portfolio, and so I'll pull up the Canvas site and I will show you what those look like, and we will go over the rubrics. So module 3 is right here, and this is all copied and pasted from the portfolio that you just saw. And we can go up here and show the rubric that I've built. And so the total points for this beginning group assignment is 22 points. And the criteria include communication styles are identified, strengths of each communication style are discussed, and weaknesses of each communication style are discussed. The project is presented within the portfolio, and then there is a discussion of the group project. So 22 points. The assessments that I built last week were 50 points each, and then I had a final assessment for 75 points. So I figured 22 points would be a good weight within that distribution of points. And then we will pull up the next module in that series, Module 4. And this was the mind map activity and assignment. So let's look at this rubric here. All right, and the rubric is going to be similar. It is also 22 points. And the criteria included 3 types of conversations are identified, communication styles that facilitate these conversations are identified, at least 2 examples of interactions are provided for each type of conversation. And again, the project is presented within the portfolio, and there is a discussion based on the group dynamics. So modules 3 and 4 are both 22 points. The final assignment within this series of assignments, I've assigned 40 points to because it's kind of larger and it accumulates all of the other projects previously. And so I thought it would be, since this is the final in a series of assignments, I figured it could have a couple more points attached to it. So twice as many just about. And this again was the assignment where they had to build a team building manifesto, as well as include some vignettes to show their manifesto in action. And so the criteria for this assignment was that their approach to courageous conversations is identified and discussed. Their approach to coaching employees is identified and discussed. Their approach to recognizing employees is identified and discussed. At least 3 vignettes are provided. The project is presented within the portfolio, and again, the group discussion piece. So when I built these rubrics, one of the things that I really had to do was really look at the assignments that I had built and make sure that I had the correct words consistently between the assignments and the rubrics. I did have to revamp a couple of things just because it didn't really, it wasn't necessary when I was building the rubric. It was like, well, this doesn't really connect, so I nixed a couple of things out of the assignments themselves, so they aren't reflected in the rubric either. But I feel that the rubrics that I've built are pretty fair. Most of them start with the highest, as in everything that I wanted to see from out of the assignments, which also relate to the objectives for the module. So when they are writing their team building manifesto, for example, the strengths of conversation styles and types of communication are considered and are justified in discussion of how to approach courageous conversations. The ratings below that, 5 points would be slightly below expectations, 4 points is needs some work, 2 points is missing major requirements, and then 0 points for little or no attempt. I chose not to put all the points in there because I feel like if you need some work, 4 points out of 6 is all right. There shouldn't be 3 points out of 6 because I feel like if you're missing major requirements, you didn't get it, you should only get 2 points. So that's how I justified that. I am looking forward to see how other people build their rubrics, though, based on the points, because I would love to see other people's perceptions and ideas behind it. So that is my assignment for this week.